welcome back to week 5 and 6 recap of the Bachelor podcast. I'm Haley. We have Wes, another veteran watcher, and then newcomers Patrick and Yari here to recap this week's episode. We missed last week, so we'll be going over both weeks. So, sit tight for a bit, but it'll be worth it. So, where do you guys want to start? Should we start with last week and kind of, all the craziness that ensued there?
The end of the craziness.
I don't think craziness ever stops on this show.
That's true.
Like, even in this most recent episode, it still carried over, but going back to the episode before that, I just didn't. I just watched. I didn't take any notes. I just went to see what happened, and I was ecstatic when I figured out who left.
It was great. It was great. The two people that we wanted to GTFO
got out.
GTFO. It was great.
Oh wow!
And we were all saying at the end of 2 weeks ago, our episode, that both of them weren't going to get the boot, and oh my gosh, I didn't expect it, but oof.
No, because we started with the rose ceremony, correct? That's what it started with?
Yeah.
Or did we start with the conversation with Anna? I think I might have started with Anna, and he let her go before the rose ceremony.
Yeah, because he walked her out. Yeah. Then Chris Harrison came in and said, "We're going to skip the
cocktail party."
Yeah, I think and
which we'll get to that. He does that a lot.
Wait, Matt,
that's a common occurrence. That's a common occurrence this year. Skipping cocktail parties.
With Matt or just in?
No, with Matt. Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think I've seen someone skip this many.
Huh.
But so yeah, we saw both Anna and Victoria made her grand exit. What did you guys think of her little meltdown before the rose ceremony, and then after?
She didn't see it coming, and then when she realized what was going to happen, she went nuts. And I think that's so funny. She thought she was going to last a lot longer and work up to this big blaze of glory, but it caught up with her because she didn't expect it as soon as it happened, and she just tried to make the most of it. And I was like, that's so just, I don't know, disappointing, or that feeling where you get like, wow, that's so sad to just see someone go like that. I don't know. I was jumping up and down in my recliner when I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had strep, so I couldn't scream at the top of my lungs without extreme pain. But I was screaming internally as it was going down. I wanted her off my screen. And the fact that Matt was just no BS on it. He was just like, I'm done. Like, the fact that he's like, she's explaining, she was like, I was joking calling them hoes. And he's just like, when is it ever appropriate to call somebody a hoe? And I'm literally like, I'm speechless, and I'm just like pointing at the TV like, yes, this right here. Like, I think he was just done.
Yeah.
I really think the producers were like, can we please keep her around? And he's like, no, like, we're done here.
Yeah. Yari, what did you think of it all?
I thought she was going to last a lot longer, actually. I was really surprised, but I think we were you guys keep spoiling in the group chat, but I think, so I knew, but I thought she was going to last a lot longer. I was surprised she never owned up to it whatsoever, and then she was like, I'm not even going to hug you because you're not the right person for me or whatever.
Well, she was convinced she was his wife. I think
she
was.
Until, who knows what even she does for a living, because it still said queen. So I think there's,
we're going to see her in, a Target after 3 months, just stocking shelves, like, hey, aren't you?
Yeah. So, although I was shocked, she did apologize for taking the one woman's crown. I don't remember who.
I guarantee that she was just trying to save face. I felt no sense of her being genuine in that, as opposed to Anna, who got sent home. And when Matt came in at the beginning, it was like, I hear about something. The camera just cuts to her, and you could just see that look on her face of oh shit,
Mhm.
like this isn't good. Like at least she owned up to it and she was like, I messed up. Like obviously we knew she had to go, but there is a difference in both of them going home. I was glad that both of them left, but at least Anna owned up to it and was like, I made a mistake here, and like this is out of character. And you know, it's nice to at least have a slight sense of humanity from one person
Right.
out of the three that have gotten sent home in the last 2 weeks.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that was cool.
I never
Go ahead.
like when Anna was going home, I was like, oh, she's like not a terrible person. She just made a really terrible choice, and I felt comfortable with that. I was like, maybe I kind of do like her a little bit still, but oh well, she's gone now. So
Yeah. Well, I feel like she almost kind of got that, like, it was sort of that pack mentality, you know, where like one person like Victoria starts it, and she just kind of like fed off of that. Where I don't know if she necessarily like was the ringleader other than like the rumor, but you know, she just kind of amplified it because Victoria was always pushing it. So
yeah, it was a Mean Girls mentality, and I put this in the group chat, and I think we need to settle. I know that Patrick hasn't watched Mean Girls, so he's gonna probably be silent. Yeah. Oh, have you seen Mean Girls?
I've seen Mean Girls.
Okay. Well, then you can. Okay. So, who are the Mean Girls? I mean, I already said this in the group chat. Regina George is MJ.
100%.
Who are we putting as the other ones? Because it really was that packed.
Right. Thank you. I think Anna was Gretchen. She seemed to not, you know, she was still kind of like mean, but it wasn't entirely her fault, you know. Although Victoria, I don't really see like Victoria being like, Victoria was just all her own.
She was like a one-man show. She never fit into like a
mom.
She was a one-man wrecking crew. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that she was a wannabe Regina. Like, she's not. Yeah. She's a wannabe Regina. But
so then maybe she's Gretchen, because Gretchen always kind of wanted to be her, you know. And then I don't know, what was the name of the other girl?
Karen.
Yes, Karen.
I think
guess
Karen's right.
Anna would be Karen. Kind of not all there sometimes. Doesn't think. She just says.
That would explain that. I could see that. Yep.
Yeah.
But I was glad that we've got all three in 2 weeks. The three people that we all hated.
Yeah.
Like went away. But
yeah.
And one person who we all liked got the boot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can. So I guess, how do you guys want to totally do this? Do we want to dive into all the dates and then go into who got sent home? Or we can talk about everyone who sent, because we're kind of in a weird situation where a lot has happened in these 2 weeks. So,
who were the one-on-ones for the initial episode from 2 weeks ago?
Kit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Kit had the kitchen date. And was she the only one?
No, I think there was somebody else. Wait, was she?
They clearly weren't that memorable.
That was the same episode with the.
Oh, it was Rachel. Rachel.
Rachel's one-on-one.
Okay. And that was.
I only remember Kit.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember. So yeah, let's kind of dive into the dates a little bit. So, Kit had her kitchen one-on-one. Where, I don't know if you guys remember, she had told Matt that, like, her and her family, or I think her and her mother, always loved cooking. So I thought that was kind of, you know, sweet to see them do that. What did you guys think? And I know you guys are always talking about attainable dates. This one felt, you know,
this was extremely attainable. This was extremely attainable. First off, that's Matt's villa. Like, okay, there are worse places to be filming this show if that's where he gets to go. I thought, again, we get very little whenever it came to like Kit's background story. Now, I did my research because everybody was like, her mom is famous, like her mom is a fashion designer. Her mom is a fashion designer, but it's not like high end. Like, you can find her stuff at TJ Maxx. which I love
Okay.
TJ. I love TJ Maxx
Yeah.
to death. I love it.
I do too.
But so her mom is a fashion designer, and so for her to kind of like open up about that, we saw a different. It was more relatable than
Mhm.
some of the one-on-ones that we got to see this week, which were extremely unattainable. But I like Kit. I think that she's not gonna go all the way there. I think that the age difference and how young she is gonna hold there. But she does have that kind of sense of maturity when you get her away from the other girls. It seems like that, you know, she's not just a 21-year-old sorority girl.
Mm-hmm.
That was my takeaway from it.
Yeah, I agree. There's more to her. She's always rubbed me the wrong way, but it was a very sweet. They shared a lot of sweet moments, I thought. Yari or Patrick, any thoughts on it? Or
I thought the date was actually really nice, and I feel like they had a pretty genuine connection in comparison to with his connection with Rachel. I don't know, I just didn't feel a connection there at all. But with Kit, I thought it was really nice and it was really sweet. Although today I was looking at memes on Instagram, and there was somebody who was saying that about Kit when you're used to riding in gold Bentleys, but now you have to enjoy cooking with a man who can't kiss, and I was like, oh.
oh goodness.
He at least owns the fact that he kisses with his eyes open. Like he's
true.
all over
I saw it
it.
again in the most recent episode.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
was on-
and his mouth is very wide when it happens. That's what I've been noticing now is like he's a really wide mouth kisser.
Just
Yeah.
hearing it, you can like kind of get a sense of his like, I don't know, technique if you want to use that word. I'm just like, man, just take it back a notch, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, the date was good in my opinion. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only
She seems to know how to cook too. Like from what we got to see in the B-roll, like for being 21, like that's a skill.
Yeah.
Like that's a skill. She's like, I know how to cook, and he's like, good, because I don't. And it's like, well, okay.
The only note I had written down for that scene was y'all gonna get salmonella. That's what they were making cookies. What'll get to him first, salmonella or COVID? We'll see.
Yeah.
He's got a nice crib too. Just
That's what I was saying.
yeah.
I mean, he's trapped there for like 12 weeks. So
Trapped.
trapped. He's got the whole resort to himself. God.
Yeah. But something, Yari, you touched on was the connection between Rachel and Matt. We kind of saw on the date. I had a differing opinion. I saw it sort of kind of blossom in a way. So what do you guys, think? I mean, I can touch on my stuff in a sec, but does anyone else? Since it seems like we're kind of torn in a sense.
Rachel was blue dress, right? With the shopping thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You got the jackpot one-on-one date for the women. You got the jackpot one-on-one. Like that is the one that every girl wants. It's just like, we're just gonna shop for you, and her just rolling in like it was. I think it's legally. I don't want it. It was either Pretty Woman or Legally Blonde. Like what? I get those movies mixed up, but it gave me that vibe with all of those shopping bags that she's just rolling in with.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of ridiculous that they had to like give her the blue dress and a box in front of everyone else.
That was a bit rude.
Yeah.
I thought.
No, the red bottom shoes.
Oh
That was,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those every girl's dream, right there. Talk
Yeah,
about unattainable. Like,
yeah,
my boyfriend, where are my red bottoms? Like, what the hell?
yeah, that's like 2 months' salary right there. Like, unbelievably expensive. Oh, I mean, I was even watching it, and I watch it with my girlfriend, and she's just sitting there, and she has a pair of red bottoms, and she's just like, I wish I could just have that date. And I was like, honestly, I don't blame you. Like, I wish I could have a date like that to where I just get to spend an unridiculous amount of money. But I thought the date was good because you got to see, obviously, she was more, I don't want to say that she was in her element, but they were both like guard down.
Yeah.
And again, Matt wore way too many turtlenecks, but that seems to be his thing this year.
It is.
the man can rock them though.
That's true.
Like it takes a specific style to rock the turtleneck, and he has pulled that off. I thought that we got to see again Rachel's like character hadn't been built up very much, and so I think that was kind of the opening to it. So I think that we're going to see a little bit more of her in the coming weeks. But I mean, I didn't mind the date. I thought it was okay. But I didn't think that was like anything special.
Right.
I guess I just really like Rachel, and I think too, like being a girl, having to try on clothes for a guy, not for a guy, but like with a guy, sometimes it's really uncomfortable because like I don't know how I feel about it yet, you know, and like that to me could be like a really intimate thing because like he's hyping you up, and the second like your guy hypes you up, like nothing else matters to me anyway, you know. Like I don't care who says anything about it because my, you know, boyfriend likes it. So I felt like that was a very like they could have connected on that level maybe, you know, like when you have that like your partner supports you in like the tiniest way ever, you know, that's I guess I think where I kind of went with it and where I saw like a little bit something there. And he was able to have fun with her too.
Yeah.
You know, he tried on a weird looking outfit and was like cool
some
with
of those
it.
outfits were very, very far out there. Nothing that would be in my Rolodex or in my closet, like, would not wear that. But, you know, it's a very modern and hip show. I mean, like, I think it was 2 years ago, they went to Revolve, and they did, like, a Revolve fashion show, and I was like, I wouldn't wear any of that, but okay. Like, you guys do you. But I get that point of it, Haley. I mean, 100%.
Any other thoughts on those, or should you guys? I think the group date. I didn't think much happened during the group date.
This week's group date I liked. So
do you not remember the whole thing at the farm?
Oh,
where they're throwing eggs and then he's going over sneaking smooches with whoever's having an interview, and then everyone's like freaking out. Like I can't take it anymore.
That was the unraveling of MJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we
MJ,
first got to
and
see
then
that.
I think we saw a little bit of who Michelle was, how she was slightly jealous. She was the one who kind of cried about it.
Yeah. Was it both two of the newer girls? It was Michelle
I think so, yeah, which is...
Michelle and...
I forget.
I don't know. It was somebody, but and I think that shows too how not lasting of impression anyone other than Michelle left out of the new girls.
Yeah.
But I think it showed too, like, I mean, a lot of girls can't handle this, so it shows how new she is to the process, where the other girls, yeah, they were probably annoyed, but, like, they've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dating show. Oh my gosh, such a foreign concept for a dating show that he's going to make out with other people. Oh, it's great.
He's got 20 girlfriends. What the hell, you know? Like...
Well, that's what I've always kind of had an issue with the show. Is he actually dating 20 girls, or is he getting to know 20 girls before he actually officializes, if that's even a word, like a relationship? You know?
Well, they get engaged at the end, so this is technically they're like dating. Yeah.
It's a great concept. You can see why there's only a handful of successes in
that
this.
is so sucky.
Like,
oh man.
I mean, coming from a farm town, like I loved the fact that it was on a farm. Now, granted, it was the most stereotypical, like, this is what a farm is like. No, it's not. But, you know, we're gonna go with it. And all these girls are wearing like really cute outfits, and it's like they should have warned you.
Yeah, why didn't they?
They never do.
No, well, okay, this is like one of the first seasons where, like, I feel like they would always be styled by the producers. I think this is the first season where they style themselves. So, like, because when they used to go, miraculously, all the girls used to have matching, like, sports outfits when they would go do, like, a sporty thing, you know? And if they were going on a farm, they all would have been in boots and stuff, you know? So this is the first season they have to, like, fend for themselves, and I don't think it's faring well for them. Because I love to get dirty as much as, like, I don't mind getting dirty. I've, you know, been around farms and stuff. I love, like, climbing a tree. Like, if I see a creek, I'm in the creek looking for a frog. But if you don't tell me before, I'm going to be pissed. Like, if I have to step in horse poop, I'm going to be mad. You know, if I have, like, new shoes like some of these girls did.
Yo, with...
Like, I guess, Yari, how would you feel with that?
Yeah, I would be pissed too, especially if I were Rachel with her red bottoms. You know what I mean?
Well, luckily Rachel didn't have to deal with that 'cause she got the one-on-one.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
They
Patrick,
did-
you were starting to say something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple things. I remember watching it, and everyone was walking up. Did anyone else notice Matt's gloves and how they just look kind of ridiculous? No one?
No, I don't.
I wrote down something about his gloves. His gloves looked really weird.
Matt's outfit on the farm looked out of place too.
Yeah.
Like even he didn't look like he
Yeah.
belonged there.
And then I was like, just in television in general, they censored and they blurred out the manure that they were all like walking through,
Yeah.
shoveling. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, why?
I guarantee there's a blooper somewhere of one of them slipping and falling in it.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
Then I said, you know, Matt's just throwing eggs and making out with women. You know, if that's,
Yep.
I don't know.
Living the dream, huh?
for some, I guess, but all those girls were like, we didn't come here to like do chores. I mean, they were all getting sick of it. They were like, we're supposed to be on a date, not doing chores. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah. You
I thought
signed
it
up
was-
for a lot with that show.
Yeah, some things are very unexpected on the show, but I think the most, again, this week's group date was very attainable. Like we got in the last 2 weeks, we've gotten an attainable one-on-one date and we've gotten an attainable group date.
Mhm.
Like bowling was attainable. Like, oh, it's not gonna break my bank account. Yes. So I like the theme that the producers are doing. Like, okay, we're not gonna wow everybody with everything, but then they rented out a carnival. So
Well, and I think there's some, you know, truth, like obviously not renting out one, but you know, going to a carnival is rather, you know, depending where you're from, attainable in that sense. Having it to yourself, maybe not, but I think now, we'll kind of touch on the end of that episode where it kind of it was like a new set of drama that kind of like was starting to close out the, you know, beginning of the episode's drama. We've kind of mentioned MJ a little bit, but
right.
Jasenia had mentioned to Matt, I don't know when she mentioned it to him. That's slipping my mind, but she mentioned to him that MJ was sort of creating a divide in the house.
yeah, we got our first 2-on-1 date because of that, and I don't think
it was a 2-on-1 really. Or I mean, I
it
don't
was
know, but
it was
everyone's calling
structured
a
as a 2-on-1, but
But that makes me wonder.
it definitely wasn't.
What? Because they brought in like a card, right? Like we have to get to the bottom of this.
Mhm.
But it wasn't a
Yeah.
date card.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, how did Matt even know there was an issue? It happened without him around.
I think Jasenia had to have said something at some point, because that's what MJ said, was that she had like brought her name into it, you know, when all she ever did was lead by example. I'm so sick of hearing my character speaks for itself and I lead by example. She said that like so many times. You know, a person's running out of like defense when they repeat themselves.
Yeah.
When you say that
And
when you say that you're questioning my character, your like character is definitely in question. Like it's not that difficult. Like nobody who has nothing to hide doesn't say you're attacking my character. Like
Right.
you're clearly on the defensive. And
Right.
I wish. Is there a part of all of you guys that just wish that like Matt wasn't in a car when that whole like shouting match was going on? He was just hiding behind a curtain or something.
Really?
Yeah. I'm shocked. I wish he would have heard that.
Oh.
And so I think Jasenia points out something good that I want to touch on and see if you guys have noticed it. Her like 3 personalities. Did any of you guys pick up on that?
Yeah.
It got brought up? Because I didn't. But when
Yeah.
it got brought up, I was like, oh, yeah, you know, like...
Is that like a usual formula for
So-
most contestants, or was it more specific to just her?
There's
It depends, I think.
I think that for some of them, there's a sense of being a two-face. Because obviously, like, whenever Matt is around, women act, or like whenever the Bachelor is around, women do act differently. They're either more flirtatious and more seductive, or they're like on their best behavior, like without a doubt. But in terms of like three personalities, no. Like I've never seen something as like what MJ has gone through. And I was watching that and I was just like, oh my gosh. Like I was expecting MJ to like fight somebody. Like I thought she was gonna jump across the couch. Yeah. It had that atmosphere. Like I could feel the tension. I was like, oh my gosh. Like this is gonna be fun.
That we kind of ended the episode with Jasenia and MJ fighting.
And Matt walking in.
Yes, driving up in like a Porsche or something.
I love his little red car.
You know,
I absolutely love it. Whenever I see that thing roll up, I was like, "It's Matt."
So I guess it, kicked off then this episode. So I'll kind of, give my thoughts real quick and then we can see. I am so sick of drama from one episode spilling into the other. Does anyone else, how do you guys feel? I was very sick of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I made two screwdrivers at the start of the episode, and I finished both of them before the first commercial break. So, I mean, it's just I watched the show because I love the drama, but this is just too much because it's not even like entertaining drama. It's just petty. Like it's not the normal like infighting of like the last like real like part of drama that I got into was Colton's season when Hannah Brown and Kaylin were both there, and they were both in the Miss USA pageant, so they knew each other before this, and they hated each other from the Miss USA pageant. I live for that. I live for that stuff because Hannah Brown bested her in the Miss USA pageant. And so Kaylin just hated her. I was like, this is going to be fun. Like, just keep it along. Like, it was just that passive aggressive. Like, this is like claws out, like, fully. And it's just the same thing. It's just a different girl each time.
Yeah. Well, and I think, so we saw all three sides of her in this first 5 minutes where the whole, I think Jasenia pointed it out, or somebody pointed out where she was talking to herself. And that was wild to me. Like, oh, I had a weak moment. Hold on, let me fix it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Nuts.
Oh, the hair.
That was nuts.
I was like, whoa.
Or the fact that MJ, who has been ranting at Jasenia, and Jasenia tries to get 2 words, and she's like, no, you've said enough already. It's like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yari, what did you think of the whole thing?
I also thought that it wasn't, because MJ was never really developed, I feel, like completely in the first couple of weeks, and then this time around, I feel like I saw a little bit too much of her. But I don't know, and I think Jasenia as well was also very, like, irrelevant, kind of, I'm going to say, for lack of better terms, throughout the first couple of weeks, and I feel like now she's getting more screen time. I feel like she's going to get a little bit more attention, and I think that the way that she handled it, I think that it went really well, because she's like, oh, I wanted you to be my rock, and, and she was kind of, I feel like she felt validated with that, but she also tried to validate Matt as well, so I like her.
Yari,
yeah, that was super important.
You mentioned screen time, and that's the other thing with all this drama. It is taking screen time away from my girl Abigail, and I am hating it. I am hating every minute of it. I'm just like, please give me more than 2 minutes.
It's making me sad, the fact that she isn't getting time. I don't know.
I love her so much.
Yeah. Serena C will complain about it. Yeah, Serena C will complain about it. Okay, you need to stop. Like, she's so annoying.
Don't even get me started.
She's ridiculous.
I hate her.
It just like came out of nowhere too. It's like, why did you even open your mouth?
Oh,
And then she's out here messing with Katie. I just can't even do it.
The drama
Katie
never
just
stopped.
didn't
They
care.
got rid of it. No, and that was my favorite, I think.
I loved it.
So we'll kind of, MJ obviously went home, and so then they kind of move on, the rose ceremony. We saw Maggie go home.
Yep.
Brittany.
And Brittany, one
And
of the
Ryan.
new girls. And yes, so two of the new girls went home. And I didn't really, there was nothing notable about that, but it
No.
was almost immediately after, like you said, Serena started just coming at Katie.
Yeah.
And they can never leave well enough alone. They finally got rid of all the drama, and then Serena C just like...
Serena C's just like, all right, another firecracker right there.
Yeah, Claus came out for, I don't even know what for, because Katie wasn't even involved in it.
It was such a baseless attack, Because the only thing of really even slight substance she had is that any of the past drama, Katie had a hand or foot in it one time, but she was never the focus of it. And
Yeah, Serena C basically called her a snitch. Sorry,
Yeah.
gosh, my voice squeaked there. Like she called her a snitch. She's like, we got a snitch in the house. It's like, well, we got rid of everybody else. Like, leave her
but
alone.
what got me was that Serena C, after she had that big encounter with Katie, she goes downstairs and immediately starts talking crap to all the other girls.
And then Katie just hops in the elevator and gets down. And is like, oh no, continue.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here. I'm just here.
Well, and that shows maturity on her part, I think. She was just like, yeah, you know what? Like, and she called her out for twisting her words, kind of, and I think she totally did that. Katie never said she wasn't there for Matt, and that was exactly what Serena was trying to say.
Yep.
And then when she was like, oh, I'm here for Matt, and then Serena C's like, barely. I was like, okay, you need to stop. No. Like, I just...
Serena C kind of shut her mouth, though.
She did.
Serena C kind of shut her mouth, though, when that one-on-one date card came.
Yeah.
That was a highlight right there. But I mean, going back to the rose ceremony, Maggie getting sent home, like, I guarantee we're gonna see her in paradise again. But also, like, I tweeted out there, I was like, oh, and it goes back to my girl Abigail. Abigail just lost her comfort buddy because those two are inseparable. If you look and pay attention, they're always next to each other.
They're so
I was
cute.
like, this sucks.
Well,
Like,
and she
not
was so
fair.
sweet.
She
What
was.
she said when she left. She was like, my person's out there, and I'll still find him.
Yep.
And, she was so sweet. She looked so bomb in that dress.
For real.
Yeah, she did.
She looked
she
stunning,
left
and she usually does.
with class. She left with class.
She did.
She did.
And I was like, hell yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
After Victoria's rough exit, we needed kind of like a very nice, dignified.
I wish security would have just drug Victoria out. I wish she would have just staged a protest. Like she's like, I am sitting in. I'm doing a sit-in right now.
I would love to see
They were
a
probably
scene.
too afraid her dress. Oh, her dress was all the way up there. They were probably afraid she was gonna flash everybody. I don't know.
Flash the hoo-ha. Like, oh,
That was a high
that's all been over Twitter too. Like everybody was expecting it. It's been it was all over Twitter when she was on the show. She did not have one good cocktail dress or anything.
That dress was decent, but it straight up, I thought I was gonna see some of her goods every time she walked. That was my issue with it.
It would have been so funny if they gave her a crowbar and said, go ham on a car.
Oh my God.
I love you, Matt.
Just play in the background, Carrie Underwood's before he cheats.
Amen.
And she's doing it. I could 100% see it.
Sobbing in her, carrying her out.
She didn't even cry. She didn't even cry when she left. She was like, I don't know what's going on. It's like you're in shock. That's what's going on.
Utter disbelief.
Yeah.
But,
Oh.
so that, we kind of, hopefully, we left some of the drama there, and then we went into a one-on-one date with
Piper, right?
Yeah,
Piper.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Piper.
gonna say I
Yep.
could see her face.
Yep, Piper.
Yeah.
Where they
Which
rent out
I
the
thought
carnival.
I thought it was odd though. A lot of the dates are only like half days now. I feel like usually they used to spend the whole day together, and now it was just the evening. No, it used to be like an event and then a dinner.
Yeah.
And I think they just did a carnival and then dinner, but it was all at night.
Yeah.
No, there was
So,
where was the musical performance?
Temecula Road.
Right?
Yep,
Yeah,
that was
I
the
just-
random country artist this
Yeah.
time. We
Yeah.
got it.
Nobody had heard of him. I've never heard of him anyway.
Me neither.
I
It
don't think they
would
did.
be a shame if the producers could figure out like one of these girls dated another country music star and just bring them back.
Right.
See another breakdown. Oh, but we did get
But,
it.
yeah,
We got it. Check that off your bingo cards.
I think Piper's
What did you guys think of?
I think
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
date started off a little wonky and weird. I mean, first off, dude rolls up in a G-Wagon, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice G-Wagon.
And then
nice
they
interior.
stop in like the middle of a road, and they're like, yo, we're gonna go walk through the woods in the dark. And I'm like, okay.
As a woman, I would be very scared if my date did that. Just saying.
Yeah.
I would be very concerned.
I can imagine
Ted
like
Bundy vibes.
like the film crew just like, I don't even know where I'm standing. And then they flip the switch, and they have an entire carnival to themselves. And I'm like, you better ride every single ride, because they had to set everything up and get it all going. But it was.
Well, and did you see how fake that switch was?
Oh yeah, that wasn't plugged into
yeah.
anything.
It was just painted. Someone painted on
Mhm.
and off.
Pull the lever, Matt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Flashback to my 2000 childhood right there, Patrick.
Oh my god, somebody, and that's so funny that you say that because somebody compared one of the Bachelorette, one of the women, to
Yzma?
that lady. Yes.
Oh.
I'll
Ouch.
have to find it.
Ouch.
I want to say it might have been Serena C, potentially.
I
It was
could,
so funny.
yeah.
And I just said it today, so that's funny that you
Oh, that's
bring
funny.
that up.
I liked the date in general, though. I mean, it was,
Mhm.
as somebody who has actually taken my girlfriend on a date to a carnival, like it was nice. I was like, okay, like I could, like I see a little bit of that. Now, granted, like
Mhm.
the stuff. First off, the stuffed animal that she chose, that was the worst choice that she could have made. I was not a fan of that look like little gremlin looking thing, but I mean, I liked it. I thought it was, again, it's kind of similar. I watched The Bachelorette last season, and they had a carnival out in La Quinta, so I think that they're recycling a little bit of the ideas there. But again, you got to see somebody who was underdeveloped. Like Piper was an underdeveloped character going into this, and we got to see a little bit more of her. So I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Yari and Patrick, did either of you have any thoughts on it? It was pretty standard to me.
Yeah,
but-
I don't know. I think it's just a weird idea to have it all to yourself. You feel like you got to do everything, and like no one's around except the camera crew. But I mean, it worked. They all had fun. Playing games like that with someone is always something fun to do. But yeah, it makes you think if they even spent like the entire day together before that or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was nice too. I feel like they have a pretty decent connection, and maybe we'll get more time with her, so we'll see.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Haley.
Oh, I'm a bit torn on her yet. I haven't felt like I've really developed a connection in a sense to her. But
she seems very
she's not bad. She could.
like sobby and like boo-hoo.
Yeah, I liked her at first, and then she started annoying me in the last episode. I forgot why she was crying, and then this time around, I was like, oh, I mean, she's okay,
But like that happens after every single one-on-one. You know, I thought, with Katie, they had a really good time on their one-on-one, and then it was like, psych, adios.
Don't get me started on Katie's date.
We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there.
But like, it's just like
Yeah,
after
yeah.
every single one-on-one, you think, wow, that was so nice and sweet. But then it's like he's done that with everyone else. So it makes you like think, which one actually matters to Matt? Which one did he actually like? Because he says he feels something for everyone, but like, which one actually sticks?
That's true.
I don't know.
It was, I think,
That's
like,
true.
it was in the group day that somebody said, oh, it's whoever's conversation he valued the most. And I think that at that point, it's going to come down to either that or just, like, how strong he feels a connection with someone.
Yeah, that group,
Yeah.
that group bowling date, I think he set the precedent right there after, like, one team lost. And again, like, the girls made a point. Like, again, like, we saw Abigail start to cry, and I was like, no. Like, it was just that Gordon Ramsay meme of, like, no, it's okay. It's okay. Why are you crying? Like, that's how I was feeling. I was like, don't do this to her. And then he's just like, no, this isn't fair. Like, this is, like, I'm looking for, like, love here. And then brought them all back. You could tell the other team was pissed. They were like, this isn't
But
fair.
it reflected on his character, I think.
It did. It
with
did.
How good of a guy that he is, Although there's sometimes he makes questionable choices, I feel like, every episode I still like he seems to be a really genuine person at the end of the day.
And I think
that
that's
was
just
really
the nature
sweet.
of the show. Like, it conflicts with like good moral character at times. If that kind of makes sense. He is a genuine nice guy, but the situation he's in and how he's going about it, just like the nature of the show, makes it seem like, oh, well, there's kind of a lot more going on than just, trying to... I mean, I wrote that down from the last episode. I said, all these dates, the idea of forming a relationship with the Bachelor, it's all the right ingredients, but like the complete wrong mixing bowl. Because I even watching the last episode, everyone is so sad and crying, and their emotions are so just raw and like beat down because everyone just wants to spend time with him, but it's so scarce to go around for everyone, and it just really has an effect on him. So I don't know if it's the show. I don't know if it's, I really don't know. It just sucks for a lot of the contestants because they want so much out of it, but for a majority of them, it's not going to happen.
These contestants keep getting a little bit screwed over, too, by this year's producers. Because during all of this, you got to remember, Heather showed up in a minivan. Like, another girl just shows up out of the blue on this, too. And
And then waltzes in, like...
I love how Chris Harris is just like, oh, yeah, like, what are you doing here? Like, that, like, they set this up. Like, this resort's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, this resort's in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, and she lives in Hollywood. Like, yeah. Like, they were, and again, I know a little bit more because she was like, yeah, I quarantined with, Hannah Brown is her best friend. Like, legitimately is her best friend.
Yeah.
And they had quarantined with Matt and Tyler Cameron at the beginning in, like, April.
Well, Heather wasn't there, I don't think.
Heather was there for
when
a
they
portion of it.
quarantined. Oh, she was? Okay.
She was there for a portion of it.
I know, because at least from what I got the impression of was that she never met Matt. That just Hannah had told her that, oh, I quarantined with Matt. He's a really good guy. You should go for him. That's what I thought.
I believe
but
she's
I mean,
met
I
him
follow
before.
Hannah Brown. I love Hannah Brown, so I follow her actively. But I don't remember who else she was quarantined with. I want to go check because I know she was with Tyler and Matt for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the quarantine TikTok squad at the beginning of April. That was.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Again, she just kind of like showed up. She's like, she stopped quarantining with Heather like a while ago, and this was filmed in October, so you guarantee like there's at least a 2-month difference. Like, no, this was set up, like 100% was set up. But
100%.
I just don't get the desire. And this has nothing to do with the current cast, in my opinion. I think the cast that we have right now is a really good one, based on the casting that was done. And I don't get why the producers are like, we need to add more to it. Like, no, you have a good product out there that you didn't need to bring in anybody else. I'm glad that they brought Tyler C back because of the fact, like, him and Matt have a relationship. Like, Matt and Tyler, like, Tyler C is Matt's best friend. So I'm glad that they brought him in. Like, that makes sense. But to bring in another girl when we're, according to Chris Harrison, we're 3 or 4 weeks away from hometowns. Like, this makes zero sense in my view of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't find who they were quarantined with. I don't think it was her. I think it was 2 other girls. But either way, to bring her in there just felt like kind of like a, I don't know if maybe, is their viewing down? Like, I don't, like if we
I haven't seen
the
ratings.
It seemed like a grasping for straws and such a cheap shot at all these girls.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I love this.
So we then, throughout the episode...
I love the security guard. Just at the gate. He's
Yeah.
like, let me call someone real quick.
Hey.
But then we see throughout the episode, her weird little in quarantine video.
Okay, those were too much. Like, again, you're taking time. I was watching with my girlfriend again, and every time that I saw, like, those vlog diaries, I was like, this is minutes that could go to Abigail or somebody else. Like, I am advocating for more screen time for her as much as possible. Like, if you look at my Twitter account. Yep. Well, she got a little bit. Like, we got to see a little bit more, and I was like, yay. Like, it's all I want. But
yeah, and she was, oh my god, I loved her dress at the I just love her so much. So the dresses are things I pay attention to, I loved her dress at the date. She put on this, like, nice blue dress. She always looks perfect. She's amazing. So why she doesn't get their screen time, beyond me.
She also doesn't have the Twitter following either. Like, I was scrolling through Twitter on Monday night, and she's only got, like, 3,000 followers, and I'm like, how do you only have this? Like, this isn't fair. It's not fair. Like, Victoria has more followers than her.
Well, because she's a queen.
God.
Right? Just barfed in my mouth a little bit, my bad.
Yeah. It's not.
But yeah, so going back a little bit, what did you guys think of the group date other than that,
I loved...
And then we can kind of dive into Katie and everything.
I loved the bowling shirt.
Oh.
I want the bowling shirt.
Matt's bowling shirt gave me, like, 80s dad sitcom vibes. That's what it gave me. Gave me that vibe.
What was that movie where everyone was bowling? It was a real... The guy's name is The Dude. You know what I'm talking about? Anyone?
I don't know.
I don't.
Oh, gosh.
Viewers comment, like, right? Anyone listening, you know what they're...
All right, maybe. Whatever. Never mind. I like his shirt.
Yeah. He was...
I thought
it
was a good episode. Again, like, it's a very common, relatable one. Like, the fact that they just had a bunch of wings and, like, mozzarella sticks and stuff. I was like, okay.
So jealous.
Like, yep. I was like,
Yeah.
this is what we needed.
To be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely.
I liked the date, so I mean, I'm all for the commoner dates.
I felt bad for Chelsea because, like, they did make it a competition, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll have everyone come back." And I don't know, she was really looking forward to the time. I mean, she still did get the time she wanted with Matt, but still, I don't know. They kind of went back on it, and it was like, well, they have the power to do that, so I guess you just got to do whatever they say.
Yeah, I feel like it was pretty wonky because at first Matt was like, "Oh, I'm not looking for the best bowler," but then Chris Harrison was like, "This is a competition, okay?" And then afterwards they're like, "Okay, you know what? You have to go home, but actually you can come back." And I was like, "Okay, make up your mind."
Yeah.
But I do feel bad for Chelsea though because I believe the rest of the girls had gotten time, like in that, like, because there was only 4 of them, so they were going to have a lot of time essentially. But I don't think Chelsea had gotten time yet, so I did feel bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
That was unfortunate for sure.
Yeah.
But,
I, Yeah, I get that, but I think that it went back to Matt's character on it. Like, again, he's a good guy. Like, he's stuck to his word of, like, I don't need the best bowler, so.
That's true.
And who got the rose on that date? Was it? It was one from the original group of girls, wasn't it? Wasn't it Michelle, maybe?
I think it was Michelle, yeah.
I think it was Michelle.
Yeah.
That was her second. Yeah. Yep.
So she wasn't even going to be on that part of the date.
No,
So I
she
thought
wasn't.
that was rather interesting, too. I'm sure, that upset a girl or two, but...
Michelle is my new
I
favorite.
think-
Michelle is on fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. At first,
I
it
like
was
her. She's not my
Bree,
favorite, but I like her.
and Abigail,
Mm.
and then Michelle just came in swinging, and that's where I'm at.
I don't
Michelle is clearly the front runner in my mind, but she is still not my favorite. Nothing is going to change that. Nothing is changing my favorite unless we find out that Abigail like murdered somebody or like something like that. Like, and even then, like I'm pulling the OJ defense with Abigail. Like
Oh my God.
I am doing it.
Yeah.
She can do no wrong.
Yeah. I love her. But yeah, Michelle, she's getting up there for me. I haven't decided yet my list. And we'll go, I think we should recap a list too once we get towards the end of kind of our rankings again, since it's been a few weeks.
That's true.
But I think, let's dive into this whole, we've kind of been alluding to Katie the whole time in bits and pieces. She got the one-on-one date, which, like Wes, you said, kind of shut Serena C up when they found out she was getting the one-on-one date. And so they ended up, that's when Tyler C came on, a bit more than just like a conversation like they always do. And they were pranking him. So what did you guys think about that?
Well, they just pulled that straight from like Impractical Jokers. The whole idea. But I felt...
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was funny. Honestly, as like these girls work so hard to get time, and as a girl, just like as a woman, I would be like, "You're taking me to a spa to play around with your best friend." Like I don't know. I just. And if I were on The Bachelor, like Rachel got like a shopping spree. I think like Bree got horseback riding. Somebody got horseback riding.
Yeah.
These girls have gotten. Piper got an amusement park, and then Katie just got messing around with Tyler C. Like
Katie got to tell a
hear the
masseuse to
excitement.
massage Kyler Cameron's nipples.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I watched that and I was laughing so hard at it.
Yes.
But the thing...
But you could see she's like, a spa? And then she goes, oh, okay. She was like, slightly disappointed.
But it was so misleading. When you introduce someone to your friends, you start, I don't know, like thinking or assuming, wow, they're introducing me to their friends. They actually want me to know other people in their life. And then to just do a complete 180 on her just made it even worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit sad.
I also got annoyed because he's like, I just don't want to be with somebody who I can play around with. And then I was like, then why did you make...
That's all he's been doing the entire time on the show.
Okay. He makes that comment, and I'm glad that he did, because the last Bachelor for sure. Like Peter was just there because he wanted somebody to play around with.
Yeah.
In the most literal sense, like Peter just wanted to play mate. That's what he wanted. Like I'm glad that like Matt is putting that out there. He's like, I'm not that. Like, please distance yourself from it. But yeah, no, like I don't want somebody to like play around with, and yet you're joking with this girl on a date with your best friend. Like,
it wasn't that the premise, like that was exactly what he went there to do. If she would have been, stiff and like, oh, this is dumb, like, he would have been like, oh, I want a girl who can have fun.
Right.
So I think it was right. She couldn't have, I don't think, won that situation, which is really sad, I think.
she still seemed like she had a good time too.
She did.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
she was the one telling him, like, again, I'm glad. I was not surprised that we were going to see Tyler C shirtless, because that's
Tyler
like
C.
that's what Tyler C is known for.
Mhm.
I'm well aware that it's unattainable, and my girlfriend loves to bring that up. She's like, she literally said when she was watching this, and I'm just sitting there, I'm drinking my screwdriver, and she just looks at me and looks back, and she's like, "You're not that." And I'm like, I'm well aware that I'm not that.
Amen.
I can't maintain this.
Amen.
I can't maintain that. And like,
Yeah.
I have no judge, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, that is attractive. Like, from a straight male, like, that is attractive. Like,
Yeah.
but she was getting into it. She was literally just like, massage his nipples awkwardly. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I don't know how he didn't say anything. Like, the man never. I mean, that's not a massage thing. They don't
He
do
just-
that. How did
he
he
just
not be like,
didn't-
excuse me?
Right. And he just kind of like lifted it. I loved when she answered the phone and she was like, "Oh yeah, you'll never guess who I'm like
Yeah.
massaging." He just lifts
Yeah.
his head up and he's like, I think that's when the light bulb went off. But
Mhm.
I didn't mind it. Again, I was disappointed in how the result ended up, because I think, like, I liked Katie as like a straight shooter. And she was genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like Abigail because of the fact, like, she's this sweet little innocent girl. Like, Katie was just, she gives me a lot of like Hannah Brown vibes, and
Mhm.
Haley, I think, would get that reference.
Absolutely. Love her. Love both.
Yeah, she's very much just genuine of like, I'm gonna say what I mean, and like, you know, I can care less what anything else, like, about any of the other drama. Like, and I just liked her for that. And I mean, she seemed like a really genuine girl, and so I did not. I was disappointed, but again, we've heard rumors over Twitter already that she is the possible next Bachelorette. So, and
Fingers
if that's the case, like, there could clearly be worse choices than Katie.
Yeah.
So I will not complain if it's Katie.
No, I completely agree. I would love to see her do it. And I want to touch on, too, a little bit. What did you guys think about her go? Because I know I was upset with him holding a rose to her and said, "I can't give you this."
You know, I'm gonna tackle this one first.
I think we could.
I felt
Yeah.
felt so bad for her because I related to the situation. I know exactly how she felt. Like, she went on this amazing date. Everything was going beautifully. She was having the time of her life. The conversation was good. They were even sitting at the meal, and she doesn't see it coming, and she gets blindsided. She gets hit by a truck. And ultimately, that's how my last relationship ended. You know, I thought everything was going great, then out of nowhere, and she talked about it. She, like, the feeling, just the blood drained from her face. It's an actual feeling where you just know, oh my God, this is happening. And she handled it wonderfully, but it was such crap to do that. Like, even, like, you could have seen it coming if it was like a rose ceremony, but to like have it lead up with that one-on-one and then just have it all go south at the drop of a hat just sucked. And it's just like, Matt, really, Matt? Like, you were okay with that? I don't know. And then you see the producer come and grab her suitcase, and everyone like, oh my gosh. It's just, I don't know. I felt really bad for Katie, and I mean, you guys saw in the group chat. I'm like, she deserved so much better. She really did.
She did.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I didn't like the justification of it. He's like, my relationships with other women are further along than this, and I'm just like, but how? Like,
Well-
I don't get. And again, like, it's probably his own thinking that he hasn't verbalized, but it's like, you seem to be on the same level as all the other girls who went on one-on-ones. Like, again, like, that's how I looked at it. So I was like, this I didn't like the fact that she got sent home. Like,
Mhm.
that was my take on it. Like, she got screwed. Like, she got screwed.
Mhm.
But again, Bachelor Nation has a way of redeeming those who kind of
Mhm.
get get a little like a rough hand on their season. So hopefully that trend continues.
Mhm. Yeah, Yari, do you have any thoughts on it? You know, it was kind of that was like the big takeaway from the episode, I thought.
It was. I did see a lot on Instagram about that as well, and I think it was probably kind of a slap in the face, and I do feel bad for her because there wasn't much of a complaint. There wasn't much of a, like you said, like a justification for her to go home,
Mhm.
but he just kind of friend zoned her. And I saw a meme about that as well on Instagram, where it was like with the weekend in the Super Bowl, like watching
Yeah.
through the glass mirrors, and it was like
Yep.
Katie trying to find her way out of the friend zone, and I was like, oh no, you guys are too mean.
It's
But
Mhm.
accurate.
yeah, I was like, oh.
So accurate.
Yeah. Well, and I
Oh,
think if you like Tyler C's conversation with him just before that date was, hey, there may be a late blooming relationship. Hold out for that. Like me and Hannah Brown's was late. And then he just did not give two craps about it. He was just like, bye. And the one thing she said in the limo that I think probably anybody can relate to is, you do everything you can and it just wasn't enough. And that broke my heart. Like,
yeah.
so I hope for, I normally am like, oh, I want like someone like the ones who would go to hometowns to be the Bachelorette. I hope for her sake it's her.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler C making that comment about like his relationship with Hannah Brown, like knowing what happened afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
I really think that there was probably something in the back of Matt's mind of like, please don't reference it because they didn't work out. Like he went and dated Gigi Hadid for a little bit, like right afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was like, I mean, I guess, but I I don't know. It just wasn't right, and yeah, to happen to a girl who is very like serious about things and also like genuine, it seemed like it wasn't fair. I, it,
Yeah.
yeah, her getting sent home was probably not the best way to kind of end an episode, but
Yeah.
yet that's what we were. And then Serena C is
Mm-hmm.
probably like, did they show Serena C's face when her luggage got wheeled out?
They probably cut
I
to it at
didn't
one
notice it.
point
No.
because it was the whole group that watched it happen.
I
Yeah. And
guarantee though,
then
Serena C was happy.
oh, absolutely, got her wish. But so we ended the episode with Heather coming to the cocktail party, which we only got a snippet of that. So I don't know if there's really much to talk about with that. But I did note that she was wearing white, which I was like, bold choice there, ma'am.
Piper was
Like,
livid.
Oh
She
yeah.
she burst out of there. She was
Mhm.
like, I don't know what's going on.
Just like
Yeah.
Matt's like vocal reaction to like her showing up. He's like,
Yeah.
Heather? Like
Yeah.
you could just see the shock on his face of like, what is going on at this point? Like,
He left because it was unbelievable.
yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting. I think we're gonna see another fence jump. I think we're gonna see it.
Oh,
Here's hoping.
Like,
yeah.
please. Oh, he could jump the fence or jump out a window. Like he could stick the landing out of a jumped out window too. But I really hope that Heather doesn't stay. Like I really hope that she gets her like 5 minutes of fame. Like we get to the first commercial break of next week and she is in her minivan driving off resort. Like all for it. Like I don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
I have nothing against Heather, but this isn't her show. Like this isn't Heather's show. Like this is not the right time to do this. Like, let's just move on.
And it was like Chris Harrison seemed happy. It's like, Heather, what are you doing here? I didn't know you were coming.
It was rough. But let's, we're kind of winding down a bit. Do you guys have any final thoughts? on the episodes before we go into like our top, like let's say 2 or 3?
You know,
I don't think so.
I I listened to another. This is a side note since we were talking about Tyler C. There was a side note that came out. Matt was on the Barstool Sports main podcast, Chicks in the Office, last week, and he revealed that Tyler C. fell for a girl while he was on the resort. I'm curious at who it is. I'm very curious to hear who this is.
It was the masseuse.
And Matt...
Oh my god.
He didn't say... I listened to the podcast again. Like, I love Barstool Sports Chicks in the Office. Like, their Bachelor recap is hilarious.
I do too.
I love Rhea, Fran, and Trent Daddy. So I 100% watched it. But he admitted, he was like, yeah, like Tyler fell for somebody while there. And I'm just like, and they asked him, it's like, you gonna tell us? He's like, nope. And I'm like, dude, you gotta tell us. Like, I want to know.
I need to know.
I need to know too. Like, I would love to see him with a few of them from there, because I love Tyler C. So I would I wish the best for him. Like,
yeah,
I wish he would be the Bachelor at some point. Like, please.
Yeah.
But that was like the last side note that I had was Tyler C. apparently like fell for somebody there, and I want to know who. Like, right now.
I guess for me, it's Matt in his hands. It's this. It's this. Every single shot of him walking around the other side of the car, or he's waiting for something to happen.
It's cold, man.
I don't think it's the cold.
It's cold, man.
Poor circulation.
Nope. It's him in his little red car.
Yeah. Yari, anything?
To what Wes was saying, I saw a couple people shipping Tyler C. and Katie, actually. So that I don't know.
That would be that would be the kind of logical choice, because I don't know how much Tyler C. saw of the other girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be for it. Again, it's like it's a non-Southern version of Hannah Brown, so I mean, maybe the non-Southern accent will work out for Tyler Cameron. But
right, hopefully. Yeah, but so let's then close out with our, top 2 or 3 girls. I don't know, so I'll go in a minute. Anyone want to start us off? Who our top 3 going forward are, or 2 if you just have 2?
For me, it's
Abigail.
Yeah, definitely Michelle, Abigail. I'd like to see where Bree comes back in. She was the one, like the first girl out of the limo on episode 1. He already had a really nice one-on-one, and she's still around, so I'm excited to see her come back and have some more.
Wes, what about you?
My top 3, Abigail, Michelle, and I'm going Kit with my 3rd. I still like Kit, so. But there's a huge gap between 2 and 1. Like, number 1 is far between. Like, nobody is dethroning Abigail.
Yeah. Yari, who do you think?
Okay.
Top 3?
My favorite is still Maggie, but I mean, she's not with us. But I would say my top 3, I would say probably Abigail, and then maybe Michelle, and then I would say Chelsea. I kind of want to see more of her. So.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like, I'm just part of it. I definitely Abigail and Michelle for me. And then I think I'm kind of torn between Serena P. and Rachel. I like those 2 a lot. They don't get a lot of screen time, but I don't know.
I think Rachel more
I like the 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in between the 2 of them for my 3, 4 spots.
Jasenia, Serena C. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we just need to we need to get down to the final 6 so we can just get to hometowns and then just go from there. Chris Harrison teasing us we're 3 weeks away from hometowns. I got 3 more weeks. Come on, man. Speed this up. We would already be at hometowns if you wouldn't bring in like another half dozen women. Like, we'd already be
That's
there.
true. He added a week for sure.
Yeah. Well, and if Heather stays, probably another one, I hope.
Oh, God. Fingers crossed she goes home in the next...
We're not speaking this into existence.
No. She goes home. I'm going to make a bet that she only lasts 10 minutes of the next episode.
I say first,
Really? They went through all the trouble to bring
she
her.
goes home by the commercial.
They brought all this trouble to like bring her onto the show, and then she's not going to even last 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm giving her no longer than 10 minutes.
I give her the first commercial. I give her the
two
first
episodes
commercial.
worth at least.
Oh.
I give her an episode.
If she gets to like stay a week, those girls are gonna lose their collective minds.
She's what, the only one that has
I think
any
there's gonna
like
be
background or like knows Matt even slightly outside of the show. You know, through mutual friends. So they're gonna play that out as much as they can. I mean, I have no idea who this person is in the first place, but
yeah, maybe we'll get it if she stays. Like, and I'm not advocating for it. If she stays, we better get a Hannah Brown sighting. Like, we better get a Hannah. If Heather is staying, like, that should be the agreement, Chris Harrison. Heather stays, Hannah Brown gets to show up.
Yeah, get on it, Chris, right now.
Like, just do it. Let's just bring them all back.
I guess, we'll see next week how long she lasts, who won our little, theoretical bet how long she lasts. Any closing thoughts from anybody, or I think we kind of recapped everything.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you guys for, coming, tuning in, listening, for all the drama and everything. Hopefully it won't last much longer, and we'll get, to the good stuff.
To the emotions. To the crying. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm waiting.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
Right.
For week 7.
Bye, everybody.
All right, guys. Have a good one.